6 warning signs you're dealing with someone toxic. We'd all like to believe the best of people. Unfortunately, that can get us in trouble sometimes. Toxic people do exist, and chances are we've met one or two. Sometimes they might not realize they're causing harm to others. On other occasions, they're fully aware of the power they hold over other people and actively intend to do harm. Fortunately, there are warning signs you can look for to see if the person you're dealing with is a toxic person. Number 1. Toxic people play the victim. Most of us are guilty of throwing a pity party for ourselves every once in a while. Things happen, and sometimes we just want to feel sad about it. But sooner or later we snap out of it, focus on finding solutions, and look on the bright side of life. Other people are in a constant state of pity party. Have you met them? You probably know or have known a person who thought the world was out to get them. People who struggle with the victim mentality don't think they have power over their lives, and they blame other people and circumstances for how unhappy they are. They also avoid responsibility like the plague. Imagine that you're walking down the street and you see a man take a tumble. You rush to help him stand up, and you notice that, luckily, he just has a small scrape on his knee. He thanks you and asks you if you can drive him to the pharmacy. So you take him to the pharmacy. He then asks you to help him with another chore, and then another. This is an example of how playing the victim can give someone the power to control another person. They prey on your feelings of empathy and goodwill to see how much money, time, and energy they can take from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you believed someone owed you an apology, but by the end of the conversation, you ended up apologizing instead? That is a classic victim attitude in which they flip the situation. Ask yourself these questions. Do you try to uplift someone while all they can do is put themselves down? Do you try to offer constructive criticism, but the person acts defensively? Do you get blamed for someone else's problems? If the answer is yes, you might be dealing with someone with a victim mentality. Number 2. Emotional abuse. Emotional abuse can be one of the most painful forms of violence and a killer of self-esteem. It creates scars that can last longer than physical ones, and it's difficult to spot. It can leave you with depression, confusion, a lack of motivation, self-blame, and low self-esteem. You might be a victim of emotional abuse or abusing someone you love without meaning to. Emotional abuse can be verbal, yelling, belittling, criticism, and accusing. It can also be subtle, intimidation, manipulation, and the silent treatment. Ask yourself these questions to spot if you're in an emotionally abusive situation. Do you find yourself walking on eggshells around someone? Does it seem as if this person treats you like a child? Does this person routinely ridicule and disregard your opinions, thoughts, and feelings? Does this person make you feel responsible for all the problems in your relationship? If you answered yes, you might be the victim of emotional abuse. If possible, you need to distance yourself from this person. Number 3. Pathological liars. No one is perfect when it comes to lying. We might tell small lies or lie by omission. Pathological liars take lying to the extreme. A pathological liar is someone who constantly tells lies, usually in an effort to protect their image. They are masters of manipulation and can lie straight to your face. They tend to be impulsive people with a need to impress. Their lies might not always have a purpose, and sometimes they might lie to you just because they can. Dealing with the pathological liar can leave you feeling confused, betrayed, and paranoid. It might even make you question your sanity. Sometimes pathological lying can be a symptom of more serious problems, like borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and depression. These disorders require professional medical help and can be dangerous when left unaddressed. Do you know a pathological liar? Ask yourself these questions. Have you caught someone lying several times? Does someone constantly lie to you about small and mundane things? Has someone that lied to you expressed zero remorse? Number 4. Toxic people seek to control. Some toxic people can be master manipulators, and they are clever about hiding their true intentions. Controlling people might want to know where you are and who you are with. They might be vocal about it or try to control you in more subtle ways. In extreme cases, if the person is a narcissist or sociopath, they might be completely incapable of feeling remorse and recognizing their bad behavior. They might have learned such behavior through an unconscious drive called the repetition compulsion. It is a psychological drive to repeat and enact the same traumatic events that you experienced as a child. To a certain extent, the repetition compulsion explains why, if one or both of your parents were controlling you, you'll try to enforce control over your partner or children. Ask yourself the following questions to see if you are dealing with a controlling person. Does someone need to know where you are at all times? Does someone micromanage your work? Does someone pull you away from your loved ones to keep you all to themselves? Number 5. People who don't respect boundaries. Imagine that you draw a line on the floor and ask a person not to cross it. However, instead of respecting your wishes, they cross your boundary just to see if they can, to test you, or to actually cause you harm. To properly function as civil members of society, some boundaries seem to be obvious to most of us, respecting someone's personal space, private property, and right to free speech. But certain people project their vulnerabilities and insecurities onto another person in the form of anger and bullying. They are incapable of respecting boundaries. They can't process their own toxicity, so they deal with it by putting it onto someone else. A perfect example of this is bullies. Bullies want to push your buttons until you break. They want to step into your personal space, destroy your private property, and break your will. They need to make someone feel small so they can feel big. Bullying happens in all sorts of environments, not just school. It could be happening in your home or office. Check to see if you are dealing with a bully. Does someone constantly play with your weaknesses to pinpoint them? Does someone continue to cross your boundaries after you have asked them not to? Does someone intimidate you by entering your personal space? Is someone gossiping about you or humiliating you? Number 6. Negative people. Everyone can feel negative sometimes. Picture that you are heading into a work meeting, feeling happy and confident with yourself. Then you see a negative coworker walk in. The whole team might have been feeling happy and optimistic at the start of the meeting, but one negative coworker has the power to bring the whole team down if left unchecked. As the proverb goes, a rotten apple spoils the barrel. And that can clearly be seen when it comes to negativity. Before you know it, the whole barrel is infected. Some people wish to share their negativity with the world, and it can spread like wildfire. Are you dealing with a negative person? Check with these questions. Does your mood drop after interacting with a particular person? Does someone walk into the room and you immediately feel put out? Is there someone that can only speak of bad news or negative stories? Is there someone who complains nonstop? While watching this video, did you recognize yourself as a toxic person? Test yourself with the following questions. Do you secretly wish that something bad would happen to someone? Do you enjoy sharing your tragic stories with others? Do you have a tendency to be jealous or possessive? If you answered yes, there are things you can do. Try attending counseling to change your behaviors and be a positive influence in the world. If you think you've been dealing with a toxic person, you can try to do the following things. Maintain positive boundaries. Be assertive about your needs and values. Disengage from people who make you feel bad about yourself. Speak to a counselor. We all deserve to live in peace and happiness. If you find yourself in one of these situations, we hope you can take the necessary steps to reach for a more positive situation. Do you know any other warning signs to look out for? Share this video with someone you think might be at risk of toxicity and share your thoughts in the comments section.
Hey, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.